Rugby has to be the best game on the planet, and by that virtue, I guess it's safe to say that this show is the best show, or at least the best for those of you watching us back home in Zuku Sports Channel 300. For Scrum Down Rugby, I'm Jotham, joined in the studio today by head coach Nakuru, Dominic Habimana, and head coach of Kenya Harlequins, Enos Otieno. How are we doing, gentlemen?
We're good.
All good to go.
All right, great 5 weeks of exciting rugby, Sevens rugby. It's that time of the year when Seven makes a big appearance. Of course, Safari Sevens coming up later on, but that's the story for another day. Very briefly, your take on the Sevens leg so far, and especially with Prinsloo happening last weekend.
Extremely competitive, even though KCB has run away with it with a series to spare.
Yeah.
They're actually untouchable right now.
Yeah.
And they, so it's but immediately from the second to the sixth, I think, it's really tight. It's within 1 point, 2 points. So the competition is actually there, and it's a testament to the growth of the game and the quality of the players countrywide.
Yeah.
All right.
Yes. So I think I'm impressed by the level of rugby in this year's tournament.
All right. Coach, on your part too, before we go into the highlights, just very briefly, your take on Prinsloo.
It's been a great weekend. Considering day one there was a lot of rain. Then day two, sunshine, good for rugby. The pitch was smooth.
Perfect conditions.
Yeah, good condition for rugby.
All right.
Yeah, and I'm sure if their selectors were down here, they got a hard time selecting players for the national team.
All right. Exceptional moments, exciting games, exciting crowd. It may have rained on Saturday and the sun was out on Sunday. By the end of the day, overall, Prinsloo was not a weekend to be missed. But in case you did, here's what went down last weekend in Nakuru.
All eyes were on Homeboys RFC when the Prinsloo 7 kicked off, seeing as the DJs were the tournament top seed by virtue of winning last weekend's Driftwood Sevens. They lie second on the log with 58 points, just 5 adrift of KCB, who are on 63 points. Defending tournament and series champions KCB came into this tournament with a dent in their pride after losing to Homeboys. Western Bulls were very much a part of the equation in this pool, and they knew exactly what they had to do to reach the Cup quarterfinals, and the onus was very much upon them to turn this knowledge into action and put up performances that would guarantee them a desired slot. Former series champions Mwamba RFC had a good outing in Mombasa, reaching the Cup semi-finals en route to a third-place finish. They most definitely headed to Nakuru with their tails up, confident of bettering their coastal outing. Nakuru were top seeds in a pool that also had Strathmore Leos, Kisumu and Daystar. The Wanyores were looking to sparkle at the home tournament, and Strathmore were their biggest opponents for pool supremacy. Mwamba RFC were placed third with a 33-5 playoff win against Western Bulls as KCB inched closer to retaining the Safaricom 7 series after claiming a third successive victory at the Top Fry Prinsloo Sevens with a 26-10 victory over Top Fry Nakuru. Nakuru were quick off the blocks, but the bunkers responded through Edwin Salamba's try, with a conversion going through 7-5 up before Peter Kilonzo skipped through a tackle, going over for a 12-5 lead for the bunkers at halftime. Charles Odhiambo would spark life into Nakuru's campaign, his unconverted try cutting the deficit to 12-10, but the bunkers tightened their grip on the game, bossing the breakdowns, scoring 2 unconverted tries through Jacob Oji and Oliver Mangeni for full-time results.
That's good. Is it a touchdown? Yes, it is a try.
The big man, Oliver Mangeni.
It was an evenly placed match, but we made a few errors and KCB capitalized on our errors. That's what made them win the game.
The tournament's growing bigger and bigger each and every year, and I believe the boys are stepping up into making it into the national teams and selection, and the boys are really playing some good rugby out here. I believe in going forward, it's going to get tougher and tougher as more and more talent is being displayed in the local circuit.
That was the weekend. That was Prinsloo Sevens. The second last leg next weekend is Christie's, but first KCB went away with it. Earlier on, we mentioned that they have the title in the bag completely.
Yeah.
So I think it's only right we start with talking about KCB. Very impressive, very consistent, despite the fact that the talisman, I guess, safe to say, Ken Mosetti has been out of action, unfortunately due to injury.
Yes, and also Darwin Mukiza also was also out for them. But they have a lot of depth.
Yeah, they have good depth.
And they have a consistent pattern of play and great conditioning by Mike Shamia.
Yeah.
Well done for all rounder for KCB. For them, I think is the winner's dilemma. So it's always hard to stay at the top.
Yeah,
so we'll see what happens. Of course, next year.
Next season.
Next season is going to be a
But
bit
this is the
tougher.
second season, right? They've defended.
This is the third one.
successfully
Yeah,
this
they've defended.
title for the second season, right, or third season.
This is the third one. This is the third
I
season.
think I hope they are going to have that same consistency even with the 15s.
Yeah.
Because look at the last 3 years.
Yeah.
They've been reaching the finals. They lost.
Yeah.
Yeah, they lost the
Yeah,
final.
they need to. Maybe
Yeah.
tactically they're down on the 15 side.
Of course, with greater numbers and greater.
Yeah, they've got depth.
Yeah.
They've got good depth.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. It was an exciting game, KCB versus Nakuru.
It was a
Technically,
tough
it was a tough game.
It was a tough game. Tough game. I think Nakuru lost the game because of the discipline in the breakdown. They lost it in the breakdown.
The
You get a yellow card or something.
Yeah, they got a yellow card. Discipline.
loss of concentration,
Yeah,
discipline.
that's when they consider another try.
But
Yeah.
overall, is our rookies and our
It's a good
have
team.
stepped up. Overall,
The Nakuru rookies.
Yeah, the Nakuru rookies, yes.
Okay.
Basically, kids from school.
I think it's now. Some of them are played last year. In fact, majority of them. The only rookie maybe is the Scrummer.
No, they're all like under 20, yeah.
Yeah, they're under 20, but
all under
they are majority. But they
There's-
played last
we
year.
have three
that
seniors. We
playing,
have three
yeah.
senior players. Yeah. We have three
Then they
senior
played
guys.
together
Yeah.
again. It's a plus for them. Now the senior players are implementing the young boys
Okay.
because the senior players are the ones who are doing the dirty work, carrying the ball, going forward. These are the younger players are like finishing.
With the gas and the fitness.
Yeah,
coming in just to
they've
finish.
got gas and everything.
Yeah. So everyone is stepping up. Yeah. Everyone
yeah.
believes now.
Yes.
Which is good. At Nakuru, basically, it's a rugby culture. So you have under 12, under 14, under 16.
Yeah, that culture. has
All
grown,
the age grades.
Yeah,
Culture
yeah.
comes starts.
Yeah, it's a culture now. It has grown in the town.
All right.
Even the schools, primary level, they're playing rugby.
Rugby culture is coming in.
Yeah.
Remember, the excitement of rugby doesn't just end here. You can find us on Facebook, facebook.com/ScrumDown Rugby, and also on Twitter @ScrumDown. Now, referees, crucial part of the game. Constant Cap is one referee we're featuring today. Change from featuring players. Constant Cap, very, very briefly. I know as coaches, sometimes referees are either on your good side or bad side. I guess in one word, how would you describe Constant Cap?
Constant Cap has been it's been great for the last several years. He has consistently
Been a constant.
he's been a constant feature of rugby, but he's pretty good. He started refereeing I think 5 years ago, or so, maybe 10 years ago actually. It's been
10
a while.
years of experience.
Yeah, it's been a while, but he's just you don't realize that he's been there for that long, but he's actually very experienced.
All right.
Yeah, so he's one of the top, if not the top, one of the top
among
three,
the top.
definitely top three.
Okay. And what about you? And how would you rate
Constant Cap, I think, he's been improving year in, year out. And now I think he's among the best referee we have.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, and probably most of the people who don't understand him, they see him like another person. I've got good experience with him and good working relationship.
Right.
He's a good man, man.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Well, they say a picture's worth 1,000 words. Well, we've gone the extra mile and gotten a video featuring the referee, Constant Cap. Here's what the man had to say.
Lineouts will be very key. The scrum position will also be very, very key in this particular matchup.
Constant Cap had his first encounter with rugby while still in primary school. Caleb Wesonga introduced him to refereeing just after clearing high school. He first took charge of school games known as the Prescott Cup tournaments, becoming the youngest referee working under the Kenya Rugby Referee Society.
I've been refereeing now for 11 years, since 2003, this being my 11th year. Well, started playing rugby when I was in primary school, when I was 7 years old. That was at Strathmore School in Lavington. played throughout primary, not really competitive rugby, but in high school we began playing more competitive rugby, playing the Prescott Cup, the Mpevu Shield and such. Then after school, while debating whether to play or not, I was approached by Caleb Wasonga, who was then one of the top referees. And well, he asked me, because I was helping one of the school teams just after finishing Form 4, and about a year or two after finishing Form 4. And he asked me if I was interested in joining the Referee Society.
Some of his colleagues had worked hard to improve the quality of the game through partnerships with other societies.
So I joined KRS, Kenya Rugby Referee Society, and began actively refereeing in 2003 with Eric Shally Shield. I think one of my early games was Nazarene against Impala 2, from what I remember, doing a few Prescott Cup matches. At that time, refereeing was very different from what it is now, because for many years in the game of rugby, referees were retired players.
Through this initiative, he got an opportunity to travel down to South Africa to sharpen his skills.
So I was 21 years old then, and the youngest face in the Referee Society. So yeah, it was something new, and it looked very odd, to see a young person there trying to be a ref. And for many years, I was the youngest referee in the society. At that time, the training was not as it is now. Okay, it was people would come from South Africa to conduct IRB courses for us, level 1, level 2 courses. There was not much. The game was pretty amateurs, I would say. I would put it, not much. People were still trying to get to where we are now, but we're still moving. As that happened also, other openings in the Confederation of African Rugby began coming, and people began getting exposed much more within refereeing circles. And this also helped in, I would say, professionalizing the game. Not necessarily with money, but with quality and an output of match officials towards refereeing. So I benefited from an early trip, I think it was way back in 2005 or 2006, to go to the Golden Lions and get some training there. Then another big event was when I got to do the CAR, Confederation of African Rugby Under-19 Championships in Tunisia, where I was lucky enough to do the 3rd and 4th place.
This was his take on how he views matches from the stands.
When you get to watch rugby, instinctively after years of refereeing, many times you first, you at times automatically start watching the ref. And one of the advantages as you become a more experienced referee is you tend to mentor younger refs. So sometimes you get to watch a game and instinctively you can even get a piece of paper and a pen. Start saying, okay, I'll tell him this after the game, this. Other times you sit down with other refs and you just say, okay, which team are you for, and you decide and you have a bet, and afterwards the winner has to throw a round or something, which is normal among human beings.
Kenya has one of the most emotional crop of fans, and sometimes they turn to the referee anytime they feel that a bad decision has been made against their teams. How do you handle this?
The funny thing is when you're in the pitch and you're really concentrating, you don't really get to hear much of what the fans are saying. At times you get distracted if you're running touch, if you're assistant referee, you can get distracted because people will call your name and you're not as active as, you're not as busy as you are while on the pitch. While on the pitch, at times you're looking into so many things that you may not even hear. And somebody in the crowd asks you, hey, you didn't hear those guys telling you that, and you have no idea what people are saying. Okay? Many times there's so many things. I'll give an example. In a scrum down, you're looking at the binding, the positioning, the offside players, the players without the ball, the player putting the ball in. You're looking at 6 to 15 different things. Now, if you're focused on all those things, your mind is there. It will be very hard for you to hear somebody, people shouting at you as such. Of course, there are those occasions when the whole crowd now starts singing for you. Just play by the tune and enjoy it. If you take things personally here, you're wasting your time. There's a lot that goes into refereeing. You don't just wake up on Saturday and get your whistle and walk onto the pitch. Just as much as the players are training, we also have to train. We have to put in a lot of both mental and physical effort. Because remember, you're running, you're talking, and you're thinking and you're making decisions all at the same time. And the pressure is there. Okay, the bigger the game at times, the bigger the pressure, the faster the game at times, the more pressure it is. So you really have to be always prepared as you approach a game.
Once again, remember the excitement of rugby does not just end here. You can find us on social media, on Twitter at Scrum.Rugby, also on Facebook, facebook.com, Scrum.Rugby. Now, rugby in Kenya is a wealth of history, rich history spanning over the ages and years. We have exciting games and individuals that have made rugby what it is today. Now, in Legends, today we feature one of those players who made rugby what it is today. We also find out what he's been up to today in the present age and also what made him tick back then. Ladies and gentlemen, Bubba Muimi.
Bubba Muimi started playing rugby in 1973 in Nairobi School. 3 years later, he proved himself and got an opportunity to play for his school team, and for the first time, Nairobi School beat their long-standing rivals, Lenana and RVA.
Rugby really started for me in 1973 in Nairobi School. That's where we learned the basics of the rugby, and we went on to play until I played for the first team, the first 15 in Nairobi School in 1976. That year we had a very strong team. For the first time in over 25 years, we managed to beat Lenana, and we also beat RVA. We played alongside great rugby players, great in that. We had people like Beth Omolo in that same team. We also had the legendary JJ Masiga.
He joined Mwamba in 1978 and played for the second team until one of the key players got an injury and he was called up to fill his shoes.
From there, I transitioned to club rugby. I played for Mwamba RFC. I joined Mwamba in 1978. I was still a student at that time. But after 1978, when I finished my A-levels, I managed now to join the mainstream first team.
He made his international debut in 1982 when he was playing for Kenya Chairman Select. He played against Zambia and one of the most powerful teams of the time in Africa, Zimbabwe, in 1989.
In the international assignments, I managed to play for the Chairman's 15s. Played in 1982 against Anti-Assassins. I also played for Kenya against Zambia and Zimbabwe in 1989. We won the game against Zambia, but at that time Zimbabwe was very strong. We lost both games that we played against them. I played all along up to the 90s, the early 90s. I got a transfer, I went to Mombasa, so I played for Mombasa Sports Club. Again in Mombasa, I went and met Jimmy, and we played along with that team. We were in second division that time.
He, alongside Tomo Kech and others, helped the team to move to the main league in the Kenya Cup.
But in 1992, we managed to qualify to the Kenya Cup because we won Derek Shelley, and as a result, we were promoted.
He retired in 1992.
What we need to develop is the psychological aspect in our players, because the talents, we definitely have the talents, and against the best teams, all the teams, there's no team in that circuit, the whole IRB series, that we've not beaten at least once. But consistency is the problem, because we play a good game, we play very well, we beat, let's say, like the All Blacks, and then the next game we go and play, we just lose it. We end up losing that, and we have the players, the same players that are playing. So it's mostly a psychological thing. We need to believe in ourselves, and if we do believe in ourselves and we strengthen that mental aspect, I think we'll be able to move to the next level.
All right, Prince Sevens once again, just in case you missed the first half of the show, happened last weekend, and that was the second last leg of the local 7 series happening here in Kenya. In studio with me again, just in case you joined us, we have Enos Otieno, head coach at Kenya Harlequins, and Dominic Habimana, head coach at Nakuru. KCB once again won Prince Louis. Now we're looking at the last final leg at Christie's, Kenya Harlequins hunting grounds and home grounds. We're just looking ahead at the pooling, Christie's. KCB, we know mathematically, points-wise, they've taken it.
Yep.
So what do we have to look forward to at Christie's?
Pool A is going to be the pool of death. And of course KCB,
Strathmore,
Strathmore,
Impala,
and Jake who have been promoted to the team, to the big boys. And again, for me, KCB, they've got nothing to lose at par now because they've won the overall circuit. But I'm sure with their consistency, they're going to take everything. They're going to fight. They might have a point to prove. So they're going to play outside. And considering the motivation their sponsors are giving them, they're going full out.
Basically.
They're going to play full out.
All right. So as much as number 1 position may be sealed, very briefly, I think number 2, 3, 4, and onwards is up for grabs.
It's up for grabs, and number 2 and number 3, number 4, the margin, the point difference is only 2 points, 3 points. Which means next weekend, if you slip, you find yourself in the ball, you're outside.
All right. So for the rest of the other teams, they still have a lot to fight for.
Yes, they have a lot to
better
fight
standings
for.
at the end of it all.
Yes.
All right, Coach, your take?
Yes, Christie's is of all the tournaments is actually one of the hardest score in terms of rugby. So it's very strong on rugby. So basically, it's very competitive, even historically, because it's more than 50 years of sevens at Christie's. So
50 years of sevens at Christie's.
Yes.
Is it one of the longest? Longest running legs?
Yeah, longest running sevens. Yes. Maybe the longest running sevens. Now so it has a culture of rugby, to focus on the rugby as opposed to entertainment, etc. But so that means all the teams go there, really compete very, very hard at Christie's. So and this year will be no different, even though it will not be a determining leg for the overall title. Yeah, but the prestige and coupled with the fact that KCB wants to prove complete dominance. The number 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6 want to also show that you can win a leg. Number 2, Homeboys has already won one. They want to see. They want to show.
Homeboys are basically second position as it stands at the moment.
Yeah, but by 1 point to 2 points. And if they
slip,
if they slip up, Nakuru becomes second. Nakuru also wants to show that we can win a leg for the first time. And I think the boys realize it's within their grasp because they after reaching the final at Prince Louis, they can see now it's possible. It's possible. You know, it's within their grasp and within their destiny. I mean, their destiny is in their hands. So I think they'll go for it. Of course, Queens, Strathmore, always in contention. It's going to be a very good Christie's.
Okay. Normally we have a trivia or a fact of the week segment, but today for this show, we just simply ask you to send us your pictures from Nakuru if you did attend, and the best one gets posted up. Until next time, keep it Zuku Sports.